I remembered a conversation I had with a dear friend of mine, and her name is Sarah. She's a really wonderful mentor to me. And Sarah said, you know, HeatherAsh, there's this organization that's called NIA, which she was very involved in, and I had know something about it. It's a movement, dance form. And she said the really cool thing about NIA is that the two people that created NIA, Carlos and Debbie, view NIA as their child. They view NIA as their daughter. And as their daughter, NIA has a relationship with every single person that ever goes to a class. So it's not that Debbie and Carlos are in relationship with their daughter is in relationship with everyone. And I felt that in my body. I was like, oh, that's cool. What would it be like to have the Toltec Center be an organization that was, instead of being an organization, was a being, was an energetic, which it already is. But that sense of an energy coming together that each person had a relationship with, and that relationship was different. I loved it. And then I let it go. But it was brewing inside of me. And that's also how change happens. Yes? We have an idea of something we want to shift, or we have a feeling sense of I'd like to be more compassionate, or I'd like to be more in alignment with my job, or I'd like to have a relationship where I could be completely honest. And that starts to brew inside of us. And in that brewing, like seeping good tea, the universe starts to come and goes, hey, you're making tea, I want to play, I want some. And starts to contribute, starts to bring energy. And you start to magnetize the different pieces that you need in order to make that shift. So as I'm brewing, I start engaging in what's the new name. And we had made lists of new names, lists and lists. I polled people, I kept writing things down. And anytime I'd read them, I'm like, nope, nope. And people would go, oh my God, this is it. And I'm like, no, I want it to be it, but it's not. So I'm thinking maybe an acronym. Oh, and here's how this started. This is so funny. My little sister, she hates it when I call her my little sister, because she's only 15 months younger than me, and she's way more mature than me in a lot of ways. So I'm talking to her on the phone, and I was telling her about the book agent that I'm working with, and we're talking about how to make the book more mainstream. So I'm telling her about how excited she is, and she goes, HeatherAsh, what's the name of your organization? She's blunt like that. And I said, Toltec Center of Creative Intent. She goes, are you kidding? That's way too long. I'm your sister. I don't even know what that means. You got to change it. I was like, God is speaking to me through my sister. So I got off the phone, and I'm like, got to change the name, obviously. So here I am trying to be inspired around a short name. Short name, short name, short name. And I'm looking at Toltec Center. Our nickname's been TCCI. That doesn't roll off the tongue. Everyone say it, TCCI. TCCI. I. There's no flow. So this word popped into my head. Toci. T-O-C-I. And I'm like, Toci? I kind of like that. It's not, and my rational brain comes in and says, yes, but it's not a proper acronym, it's not going to work. And I'm about to throw it out. And this little voice said, go look it up. So I went, okay. So I did what all good modern day people do. What did I do? I Googled it! Toci, click. What shows up? Number 1, Toci. Toci is a pre-Columbian Mexican goddess in the Nahuatl language. Toci means our grandmother. And that's when I realized I wasn't dreaming anything. I was being dreamed. So, we have a new grandma. Yeah. So Toci, and we also have a much longer name too. She is called Toci, but then she also has a much longer, more ethnic sounding name as well. But it also means heart of the earth. And she was considered the goddess, the mama of all the gods. And she's also the goddess of purification. She's the goddess of the Temescal. So how perfect is that? So that's how the name chose, that's how Toci said, hello, I'm here now. Great, I didn't bring a photo and I forgot to bring a photo, but I'll share a photo with you guys. There's a beautiful statue of her. She has all these big rolls in her hair. It's cool. Which leads me to more magic. Do I have time? I have time. So Raven, in January, I'm going through my process of dreaming. Raven is in Mexico. Which part of your story am I going to share? He's in Mexico. Oh, I'm going to make you come up here and say it. I'll tell you what part. Come here. One moment, please, while the beautiful Raven man comes up. So the story is, can you see him?
He needs to scoot over. He needs to move.
You can get close, it's okay. I'm married, I won't hurt you.
Much.
I just stomp on your toes a lot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of klutzy. So, when you were sitting and you were praying and the guy showed up, he remembers.
So I was working with the angel of death in Teo at the place that we work with at a place where there's a bridge across the river, and I'd been sitting off to the side, and I had been having communion with death, really working with the concept of death and the personification of death. So talking with it, working with it in a very direct way. And I'd been there for a while, and I'd been writing everything that came through, and so I'm journaling away around these thoughts that are coming through around death. And this vendor out there at the complex walks up to me and he starts talking to me, and over the course of that conversation he gives me an icon made out of clay, and he talks to me about it, and we have a long conversation.
Raven never has long conversations with vendors,
especially
just
with vendors.
To be clear.
Yeah. But we had a long conversation about it, and then I wind up walking away with this icon. And it turns out that icon, for me, it was the embodiment of the energetic that was happening there around death. But it's Toci. It is the actual, the exact, when you go and look on the website at the different figures of it, it's the figure of the grandmother of Toci from Teo down there. So this happened all at the same time that we're growing the center.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so great because I see the image of her and I'm like, where have I seen that before? I go running to Raven's altar, I'm like, whoa. So, in one weekend, Toci introduced herself. I did a lot of gardening and cleaned the house really well. It's impressive when you have a project to do, how much house cleaning you can get done. So, and just started dreaming from a blank slate. And so what emerged was really cool. I don't even think I can describe it, but I'll try and write about it. So tonight or tomorrow or the day after, whenever Nico runs out of steam. 2 days ago, we're like, okay, we need to flip the website and then like the name and the newsletter. So we've been staying up very late at night. So in the next couple days, we're going to be sending out the new newsletter, which has a lot of really great information, and it'll start coming out monthly. And in the newsletter, I'll start giving downloads about what the different programmings are. One of the beautiful things is that for years, I've been really wanting to have something that was based on the seasons, that was based on the elements. And I could never figure out how to manifest that. And all of a sudden, it popped in. And so what we're going to start having is quarterly, what I'm calling seasonal intensives. So there'll be summer, fall, winter, and spring. You see, my brain is not working so well linearly. those seasonal things. So for the summer, we're going to do 2 months for the summer, but most of the intensives will be 3 months. And so we're going to offer a lot of the same programs that we have. We're offering a lot of different meetup groups, which is exciting. We're going to host different meetups groups. So there's much to choose from those. And then we're also going to have our regular Thursday night classes. And that was something that in Berkeley was really powerful. When we had our center in Berkeley, every Monday night, I taught. Every Monday night for years. I mean, it was like for 3 or 4 years. And there were a group of us that always showed up on Monday nights. And it didn't matter if it was the same topic, it was always different information. Always. Because it was based on who showed up. How could it be the same information? There's a different being here. So we're going to go back to that model. Thursday nights that I'll be teaching, and there'll be other teachers coming in as well. And it's going to be based on who is there, what's relevant, what is the energetic. So we're going to go back to that model of working. The first round, we're going to work with the 4 agreements because they're so cool. But then we'll see where it goes and how we dream. And there's an opportunity then to go really deep each quarter. So what the seasonal intensives are is that you get to be part of a group, part of a circle, part of a pod that's doing the Thursday night classes, that is also doing a workshop, once a quarter workshop. And that is part of this membership site that Nico and Raven are in the middle of developing, which is really cool. It's going to be a great way to interact. And we're going to layer everything. So it's going to be local, so there'll be local circles happening as well as global. So anybody who is long distance can tap in to all of the above and be part of that seasonal intensive. And then we're also going to start having different workshops that I am so excited about this. And it's still percolating, but I have the dates through February 2013. So I can give them to you now, you can get them on your calendar. What I've seen is that when you get a bunch of people in a room that are focused on personal freedom, miracles can happen. Total miracles can happen in the span of 2 days. Because of the energy that's available, because of the intent, because of the focus, and because of all the tools that we have through the center of all the different traditions that we draw from. And so it's been really fun to comb through everything that I've ever taught over the last 20 years and go, what's the most powerful things? What are the most powerful? What's the stepping stone? And that's one of the challenges of being creative is for 10 years we've kind of been like, hey, let's try this. Hey, how about this? And so we've had really sporadic people that know a lot about one thing but don't know anything about this. And it's like, how could you have missed that piece? Okay. It's because we stopped teaching it for a while. Because we got bored of it or because we got something else interesting. Okay. I watched this with Miguel as well. He was my good model. And it's a beautiful way because it's spontaneous. It's in the moment. It's what's arising. And the downfall is that there's holes, that there's gaps, because it depends on when you came in. So this way we're going to start to systemize it. There'll still be a lot of creativity and a lot of opportunity for spontaneous in the moment, but there's also going to be a pathway of like, here's the foundation. So the first level is called roots. And it's a spiritual integrity, we call it the spiritual integrity series. The first one is the roots. What is the foundation of living an authentic life? What's the foundation of coming back into our wholeness, of being impeccable? What are the building blocks of that? Because we all need a solid foundation and a language that we can then take in and digest and use to begin to create something to stand on. I've seen this over and over again. When people go to make big changes in their life, it's as if each of us, as we were growing up, we created all these structures in our being. And we think we're the structure. We identify with the structure. That's who I am. So when you get the bright idea of, I'm going to go change my structure, what happens is you start pulling things apart. You start taking different parts of your structure out. And what happens? How do you feel? Wobbly. Exactly. And what do you do when you feel wobbly? you put it back again, or you grab onto something else. I've seen so many people like, I'm solid. I feel solid. You can't push me over. I'm good. Okay, because they're leaning on an identification. They're leaning on a structure that's actually not serving them. So this idea of coming back to your roots is around letting go of all the outside places that you're holding on to feel stable. And starting to come back to that sense of, okay, this is my base, to start to find your own authenticity. Next spiritual integrity tool is around heart. It's around the core. So it's a continuation of the teachings and of really then beginning to bring that energy up from a solid base to begin to choose, what is it that I want to be putting out into the world? What is it that I want to be embodying? And that's what I love. That's what I hear over and over again from people that are part of our community. When people come to me and say, what's different about your community? What I hear is different is that we really take the teachings from head into embodiment, into living it in everyday life consistently over time. So that instead of, I feel really good from that workshop, yay! And a week later, there's a rewiring of the system so that you can begin to sustain what it is that you want to hold in your life. And that sustainability is, again, part of impeccability. Impeccability is using everything to support yourself rather than everything to go against yourself. Imagine what your life would be like if no matter what happened in your world, you looked at how can I use this to increase my compassion, my strength, my perception, my openness, my love. Rather than your judge grabbing it and going, how can I use this to punish you? And to tell you how icky you are. Or how can I, or your victim going, how can I use this to feel even more victimized? So we start to shift. That's roots. The heart is then starting to emanate that out. And then level 3 is around sky. It's around your branches. It's around wings. So the big view. And one thing that Raven's been working with, and he'll be working a lot with this, I'm sure, is around transpersonal service. When we get to the place, instead of focusing on me, we have enough authenticity, enough of our personal freedom that we begin to recognize that all of our actions impact everyone. And so that everything that we do, all the healing, all the prayers, everything can be around serving the whole rather than just this little part. So that's a little tidbit taste of what's coming with the new structure. Let me check my time. Questions or comments from anybody really quick before I unveil the new logo? Wasn't it fun to try and find a place that didn't have any signs?
Yes. Yeah.
And you didn't know what it was called? I am so terrible keeping secrets, like this kind of secret. I'm usually like, oh my God, tell everybody, this is so cool! So I've just been like, dun, da, da. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh wait, I need a helper. Walker. So after this broadcast, we're going to eat chocolate and drink champagne, and we have non-sugar, raw, good-for-you chocolate and fruit juice. And then we're going to put the sign up on the door. We have 2 of them.